Solving quadratic equations by completing the square method. That's today's title of this video. So with me I've got two examples. The first example is completing the square when coefficient of x squared is 1, and the second example is completing the square when coefficient of x squared is more than 1. You have this example and this example. So we can start completing the square when coefficient of x squared is 1. When we say coefficient of x squared is this number that is in front of x squared. So the first thing that you should do is start by moving this constant x to the other side such that these equations become x squared plus 8x is equal to 20. The second step you should do is do what is called completing the square. How do you do that? You take this x squared plus 8x, then plus, create a space, then equal sign, then this 20 plus, create another space. In these spaces we will have some numbers to complete them. So those numbers we get them from this coefficient of x. So we take this 8 divided by 2, then square. 8 divided by 2 is 4, 4 squared is 16. So on these spaces I'm going to add 16 on this side, this other side I add 16. So our equation now becomes x squared plus 8x plus this 16 is equal to 20 plus 16 is 36. So from there you write the perfect square of this equation. So you find the square root of x squared, which is x, then the square root of 16. So 16 and x squared. So square root of x squared is x, square root of 16 is 4. Then you carry this sign in front of this number. So you have 4, then enclose them in brackets, then is equal to 36. Since we are finding the value of x, we should find a way to eliminate this squared from this side. So what you do to eliminate this squared is to actually find the square root on both sides. So square root on that side, square root on that side. So the square root and the square cancels. So you remain with x plus 4 is equals to square root of 36. So when you find the square root of a certain any number, the answer is a positive number and a negative number. So we have plus or minus square root of 36 is 6. So now we have got x plus 4 is equal to plus or minus that plus 6. Now this one plus or minus 6 means that we'll have two values of x. So what we do is find the value of x when 6 is positive. So x plus 4 is equal to 6, and then find the value of x when 6 is negative. Then x plus 4 is equal to negative 6. So this one becomes x is equal, jump plus 4 on this side to become 6 minus 4. So x is equal to 6 minus 4 is 2. So the first value of x is 2. This other one becomes x is equals to negative 6. Then move this 4 to the other side to become negative 4. So this one becomes x is equal to negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. So this is a second value of x, negative 10. So the values of x is 2 and negative 10. And that's how we complete the square. That's how we complete the square when coefficient of x squared is 1. Now, how we complete the square when coefficient of x squared is more than 1? Here is what you do. So in this case is that you should make the coefficient of x squared to be 1 by dividing all the terms in this equation by coefficient of x squared. So our coefficient in this equation is 3. So you must divide this one by 3, by 3, by 3, and by 3. So this one becomes 3 and 3 cancels to remain with x squared plus 15x divided by 3 is 5x Negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8 and is equal to 0. So as usual, you take this constant c on the other side so as to have the equation as x squared plus 5x is equal to 8. Next step as usual is to complete the square. So this one becomes x squared plus 5x, then plus, leave a space, then equal sign, 8 plus, create another space. The next step, take the coefficient of x, which is 5, divide 5 by 2, then square. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, then square. 2.5 squared is 6.25. So on these gaps, I'm going to want 6.25 plus 6.25. So our equation becomes x squared plus 5x plus 6.25 is equal to 8 plus 6.25 is 14.25. The next step is to factor this equation. Find the square root of x squared, which is x, plus square root of 6.25 is 2.5. Then square is equal to 14.25. So the next step is to find square root on both sides to eliminate this squared. So square root on this side, then square root on this side. And remember that we said if you find the square root of a certain number, the answer is a positive and a negative number. So this square root sign and this squared cancels to remain with x plus 2.5 is equals to plus or minus square root of 14.25 is actually 3.775. So we are going to find the value of x when 3.775 is positive. First, x plus 2.5 is equal to 3.775, and then find the value of x. Let's first find this one. So x is equals to 3.775, then move positive 2.5 to this sign to become negative 2.5. So this one minus this one becomes x. First value of x is actually 1.275. The next is to find the value of x when 3.775 is negative here. So we write x plus 2.5 is equal to negative 3.775. Then next we move this to the other side, 2.5. So the one becomes x is equals to negative 3.775 minus 2.5. So the second value of x is equal to this one minus this one gives us negative 6.275. And then finally the values of x for this quadratic equation is 1.275 and negative 6.275. And that's how you complete the square comfortably. So don't forget these steps that are involved when completing the square method. Yeah.